Almost had it. Almost had perfect timing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting, tremendous episode of the Tribune Show. I know we're getting a little bit of a late start, but that's okay. Catch it whenever you can. I feel like I'm a little loud. Probably just me, though. I apologize for the lack of production. I've been feeling a little under the weather the last few days. Totally not staged cough, but we'll have those every now and then. So today, obviously, I'm sure a lot of my viewers are familiar with the Matrix franchise, the whole red pill, blue pill dichotomy, and actually, why the heck not? Most people are familiar with it. You know, we take the blue pill and go back to sleep, or you take the red pill and see how far down the rabbit hole goes. Excuse me. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Matrix. And what is the Matrix exactly? Well, that's a great place to start, I suppose. The Matrix would be, obviously, in this case, the systems of thought that surround us day to day that influence our actions. And this is really, really important because those of us in the truth community who have realized the scale of the deception that's happening, I have, been sounding the alarm for quite a long time. And at this point, it really is, pretty much a desperate gamble, to say the least. But we really need to pay attention to the things that influence our thought. After all, big time communist Vladimir Lenin, best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. So these are thoughts that, these elite have already been having for quite some time. We should obviously be making, wise decisions based on knowledge and not by numbers. Most of us in the True Earth community have already had to come to that conclusion. You cannot appeal to the majority as an argument and it be logical. Excuse me. Well, before we get too far into it, let's go ahead and give the shout out where the shout out is due. Let's go ahead and call out some of the chat. It'll be very easy over on the Rokfin. Nobody's commented yet, so can't shout you out. But let's go ahead and shoot on over to the YouTube and see who has graced us here. YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain. Oh no. I'm not going to open a widget. I don't know what the heck that means. All right. Let's see who we have here. We have Tapered Bodies. Welcome to the show. Of course, Mellow Gang, gang. Always welcome on the show. Today should be a pretty good one. We're going to be opening up the lines at the end as usual. So I look forward to having some phenomenal guests. Mellow, you should stop on in if you're not busy. Tapered Bodies, you of course are welcome as well. Anybody else who maybe my stream is just not showing up, my chat, who knows? But in any case, I appreciate you all being here. Appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead and head back on over. Mischief Brew. Welcome to the show, man. First on the Rokfin. I, of course, don't count. So Jeez. All right, let's hit the outro. Great show. See you guys next time. No, I'm just kidding. Today we're going to be taking a look at the matrix of thought, all the things that control the way that people think and the way, excuse me, and how that affects our emotions, how that affects our actions. That way we can better recognize these things, and hopefully I can offer some solutions here at the end. So definitely stay tuned for the Rokfin side. We're going to be doing a big reveal on some of the matrix, some of the thought programs of the elite. So that's going to be really fun. But you got to be on the big boy side to talk about it. So yeah, be sure to head on over there to the Rokfin. It is absolutely free while the show is live. After a few days, we'll go ahead and head on in there and make it premium. So if you don't happen to catch it all here, no worries. Just show some support to me or to the whole Rokfin community, and you will get to enjoy not only my content, but the content of Jaronism, of Owen Benjamin, of Melodome, and many, many others. So let's go ahead and, whoops, boom. Subscribe to Rokfin if you haven't already. And of course, one of the huge matrices of thought is the globe Earth deception. We're going to be tackling that, of course, as well, just a little bit. The reason for the deception, the motivation. One of the biggest questions that I get asked by Globers, of course, is why on earth the lie? But we'll get into that here in just a bit. You can follow along with some of the evidences with the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. Bypass the YouTube and Google algorithms and get to the good videos over in their videos tab. And make sure that when you sign on, use referral code Tribune after downloading so they know who sent you. There are tons of blue dots growing by the day. You don't want to miss out. Be one of the last ones to be on the app. That'd be super lame of you. So support Flat Earthers. Alrighty, back to the biggest, most obvious deception. Obviously going to be the Flat Earth, going to be the globe Earth lie. Behold, one of the best evidences for the Flat Earth, the fact that we see way too far. Thanks, Jay Tolan Media, for the infrared images. Not only do we have this epic picture of Mount Jacinto, which I'm sure most of my viewers are familiar with, but we are also going to have a much further shot, Texas to Baja. Amazing. You can see the water right there. Super far. It's like 720 miles. Of course, we all know that the Black Swan already debunks the geometric horizon. Just doing a little housekeeping for some of the new people who may happen across this video. And if you are new, make sure that you check out the True Earth Debate. We have them over on TikTok. We're actually going to have to pre-announce the day of the week of, because my schedule is getting absolutely crazy. So stay tuned for the community post to know when we're going to be doing that. And we will also be doing at least once a week either a 1v1 or an open panel True Earth Debate here on the YouTube and Rokfin. Super fun. If you want to get in on that, make sure you hit me up on Telegram or on Discord. All right, I'm just going to check back over on these comments over here on the YouTube and give it one more shout out because I know it's probably blown up by now. We got Austin Murphy. Welcome to the show. Braxton Burcheat, Melodome. Called you out earlier, but just in case you hop back in and didn't see it. Rain Bernays. Mark Basket, I know you retracted your message, but you're still getting the shout out. S369, that is going to be Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind. Make sure you go and sub to his new channel. Don't tell me what to do. That's so funny. I'm going to respectfully request that you all smash the like button to help the algorithm. Really helps me out. Will help yourselves out later on, of course, with the better content that's going to come with it. The Gnostic Chef. This would be a pretty cool episode to tune into. Jeremy Bird, Michelle Moretti, Austin Murphy. Already said you. Awesome. I think I got everybody. Welcome to the show over on the Rokfin. It's still Mischief Brew. Awesome. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Folks, if you are new to the show and you like some of the stuff that you are seeing, be sure to smash the Buy Me a Coffee link and get your super chat read live in the middle of the show. Ding! Get my attention in the best way. So go ahead and do that. If you'd like to support the show, that is the best way. Or the second best way is just to go right to my Cash App. That's Cash App MrTribune. If you send a message, I'll check it here before the end of the show. And you will also have your super chat read live by MrTribune. So I definitely appreciate all the support. We are doing a huge drive for the new computer. One of the big things that we need to break out of the matrix is going to be better equipment. So we get a better system here. Probably going to build it ourselves. And then we can provide better content for you all, which is going to just make everything so much better in the world. So be a part of the change. All right. Let's go ahead. We're already on the main page. Excellent. All right. So we can start we can really start the show with a cool a story that I heard, and I wish I could pull it back up, but it was a long time ago, but I can give you the gist of it. I know it's already really really good storytelling. But basically it goes like this. There's a woman who's pregnant, and like all women who are pregnant, they go into the hospital when they go into labor, get put into a uncomfortable position on their back that's actually pretty unnatural, uh, which causes unnecessary strain on the birthing process. And from there, because the woman gets too tired, the doctors strongly recommend a C-section. And of course, because she's having a hard time, she agrees to it. Doesn't know any better. Little did she know that there's, really good bacteria in the birth canal that the baby misses out on during a C-section, which can really affect later development, specifically of the brain. So, brain and immune system. In any case, the baby's already off to a really good start, right? So from there, the economy's so bad that both the woman and her husband have to work, full-time jobs to make ends meet. So the baby gets put with a sitter for the most part, and then of course gets into daycare. Um, you already know the story about all the medical recommendations that that are given between in that time frame. And then from there, you get sent to the public school system, which teaches you the entire time that you have to go to college so that you can get a good job, so that you can have a good paying career to support your family. Rinse and repeat. So you go to school, you work hard, you make good grades, you maybe do good in a sport, and you get to college. And now it's the same thing. Okay, now you have to do good in college so that you can have your bragging rights, get a really good job, um, rinse and repeat. So you go and you spend all this money on college. You go deep into debt. I mean, real deep. So deep that, most people actually don't recover from it. And during this, um, you go into a extremely competitive marketplace, right? Because everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's going to school. Everybody's going to college. Everybody has the select fields that are really popular that, the media and the teachers and everything kind of steer the people towards. What's that game? Kind of like a big game of Pachenko, but the students are the discs or the pucks. Real funny stuff. In any case, a lot of people don't even end up with the job in their field. Go figure. But anyway, as the story goes, um, this person did not, excuse me, this person did not end up in a very high paying job. It was very average, mediocre. And then the entire time in that job, while they're working hard to get their promotion, they are, excuse me, they are seeing the price of everything just go higher and higher and higher. So the of course the food they were eating already wasn't very good, right? If you look at the food pyramid, at least the one that most of us were using, back when I was a kid, it was the bread and grain on the bottom, and then you had meats and vegetables, fruit, sugar at the top. We all know how it goes. Um, just kind of an overall horrible diet. The American diet, if you didn't know, is something that is joked about in the health circles. So if you still eat like cheeseburgers and soda, um, please think about what you're doing. In any case, not to get too off topic, but yeah, so this person ends up, because it's ultimately everything wears on you eventually. So they end up getting health problems, go back to the doctor, get prescribed a bunch of medicine, and then eventually the vicious cycle goes that you end up um, broke and in the ground. And you look at that from an outside perspective and you think, man, what the hell kind of life is that? But that is actually the reality for a good majority, at least of Americans out here. So it's really important that we, band together and really do things that can test the matrix, if you will. Because this matrix of thought is not healthy. It's not very conducive to producing strong people in society. And I don't think you have to be very smart to see that. So a big thing that I run into when it comes to the Matrix, right? Because you'll go and you'll talk to people, and it definitely seems like politically, the people who are waking up tend to be on one side of the aisle. And if they're on the other, well, hell, let's just go ahead and point the finger, right? Because this is talked about all the time on YouTube, so we should be good. The left versus right, the Democrat versus Republican. I mean, so obvious, two sides of the same coin. Let's go ahead and pull this back up. It's so funny. The left and the right leading right into the slaughterhouse. Because it doesn't really matter which way you pick. If you stick dogmatically to the side, that is where you are going to end up. And you don't have to look very far for proof of this. You can find prominent Republicans like Ben Shapiro advocating heavily for the vaccine. And I'm not going to play any of their stuff because I don't want to get a copyright strike. I've already had a couple copyright claims, and I'm using, free stuff and stuff that I've had permission for. So I just got to be a little careful. Another reason to jump over to Rokfin, by the way. So that's just one example. Another example is um, people like John Doyle, a big young conservative, calling for censorship of the Democrats, basically saying that Well, the Democrats' ideas are so bad that we obviously need to limit them to stop the spread of communism. So, Jaron has made this point before, and I think it's valid in that what the elite do, is they know that we have a breaking point, so they'll have the pendulum shift one way, and then they'll have it shift the other after a little while. And if you actually engage in conversations with people who are politically involved, you'll find that they actually have the polar opposite opinion. It's really funny. In other words, well, I shouldn't say polar opposite opinion. They have the same opinion about the other side. So the Republicans think that the Democrats are absolutely insane, and they are. And the Democrats think that the Republicans are absolutely insane, and they are. So they both play on very real issues, and that's why they gain credibility. It's a very, very dangerous matrix. And to a lot of people on the outside, it looks a lot like this. This was totally done by design. When Trump came out and was calling out the lying media, even though he wasn't really calling out anything major, didn't talk about 9/11, didn't talk about the fraud of the Fed Reserve. It was insane, all the stuff that he let pass. It created Space Force, fast tracked the vaccine, pretty much went right along with the World Economic Forum plan. And yet, when people were voting for Trump, they thought this was the choice that they were making, right? The blue pill is obviously, the Democrats. Democrats color blue, red for Republican, color red's the red pill. And I don't think that this is by coincidence. I think this is very much by design. Even the colors that they choose, this whole dialect that's being played out is actually really old. It's really old. At least if you believe in some of the mainstream history. So here's what I mean by that. First, let me go ahead and boom, testing the matrix. That's what it's all about. Heck yeah. Let me get this pulled up for you guys because this was a great book that I was reading called the Tripartite Tractate. I'm trying to scroll to the specific part. So this is a old Gnostic book. Comes from a Gnostic library. This is gnosis.org. I'm gonna go ahead and copy the link actually. Post it for you guys here in just a second. Let me get back to that part. All right. Basically, this book is like as a lot of Gnosis books are, is a poetic representation of what they thought the divine was. But they weren't brazen enough to basically try to force it on other people. So it's not really hard. It's hard to call it a religion, I suppose. Where the heck is the? All right, we're gonna need the big screen share because this page is freaking tiny writing. All right. So we were talking about the left and right dialect and how it's actually really, really old. So to each one, he gave a name. Since the two orders are in a name, those belonging to the thought and those of the representation are called the right ones, and the psychic, the fiery ones, and the middle ones. Those who belong to the arrogant thought of those of the likeness are called the left, the hylic, the dark ones, and the last. So this is because this is really, really thick. breaks it down a little bit more, but essentially, it has it right there. The reason why the right ones are called the middle ones is because they don't have it exactly right. They get blinded by dogma still pretty easily. So the way that the gnosis folks rationalize it is that there are some people who just can't get it, and those people who can't get the spiritual side of things are on the left. They're completely materialistic and they're arrogant in it. And doesn't that attitude like seem familiar? It seems like a lot of people that we've dealt with in the True Earth debates. It's no surprise that a lot of the anti-flat earthers are left leaning, very pro medical field and all that good stuff. So, and of course, the right ones, it's not to say that they're perfect, because they're definitely not. They're far from it. But they are a lot closer to it in that they recognize that there's a spiritual side to things. That's why they're in the middle. There was one where they actually had one that was above it all, and that was basically Logos itself. Let me read this real quick. The conversion is humble toward the beings of thought, and the law too is humble toward them, of the judgment, which is the condemnation and the wrath. And also humble toward them is the power which separates those who fall below them, sends them far off, and does not allow them to spread out over beings of the thought, and the conversion, which power consists in fear and perplexity, and forgetfulness and astonishment and ignorance, and the things which have come into being in the manner of a likeness through fantasy. So it's condemning that right there. It's pretty funny. Things that come through fantasy. Basically, the art of the charlatan. But anyway, this is a good read. We scroll back up to the top here so you can get the full source. Oh yeah, I didn't drop the link. This is from the Nag Hammadi Library. So let's go here. I'm gonna read some of your chats while I'm posting this. Because I've seen some interesting stuff. Rain Bernays, in the old days, only the royals could wear purple. It was very difficult and expensive dye to produce. Yes, it was. And the other thing with the purple that was really interesting is that if you look at what was it, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Eastern philosophy in the chakra system, purple is for the third eye chakra, which is the one of intuition and higher knowledge. What else do we got here? You'll have to choose at some point between creation or evolution. Good luck, theory boy. Nice. Well, I actually do believe in creation, so I'm not sure who that comment was directed towards, but alrighty. Red and blue baked together. Purple, what chakra is that? Very interesting. Nice. Yeah, red is the root chakra. One for safety, and the one that just says that you're here. The one that if you're having anxiety, you can focus on that. That's pretty cool. And then you have blue, which is communication. So, yeah, safe communication, rooted communication. Makes complete sense to me. Setneg, TT, what's the main topic here for tonight? The main topic is matrices of thought. It's pretty vague, but that way we can actually touch on a couple different things. We've touched on the school system. We have touched on just a very little bit of the medical. We're going to touch on more on that on the Rokfin side. And we have just touched on the Republican versus Democrat dialect and how it's actually an old thing being played out for us again for people to fall into. Really funny stuff there. Much love, Troubling Tribune. Hey, Braxton. Huge shout out. Mad respect for being a truther. Just doing what anybody with a conscience would do, in my opinion. You have the means and you have a little bit of charisma and a little bit of narcissism, then why not make a channel? Try to do something useful with it. That's a little bit of shadow work for those who aren't familiar with that. That's if you know you have a negative quality, but you can channel it for a positive outcome, then you should learn how to do that. Otherwise, your negative attributes just build up and end up manifesting in bad ways. That is a old school of thought. I think that was Jung. Breaking it down, Gnostic Chef. SSM 369. For all those who don't know, that is Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Make sure you go and give him a sub. And absolutely do not be a communist. Make sure you smash the like. We got 17 viewers and 15 likes. It's actually really good. So make sure you share the show then. We really appreciate it. All right, that's it for that. I got to get this posted over here in the Rokfin. You guys have been waiting patiently. This is an excellent resource to get some outside perspective, some some, I guess you'd call it religious context that doesn't really reach the mainstream. So that's the kind of stuff that I really like to get into. So while we're still over here on both sides, let's go ahead, and there was something on TikTok that I wanted to show off. Boom. Go ahead and let me see if it's here still. Oh, perfect. Ah, that music can go, though.
The difference between...
Whoops. All right, we almost got it. And turn off that awful sound. So one thing I don't like about TikTok. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to watch this car over here. You can see it randomly get smashed. I know it may seem like I'm reaching, but is that a glitch in the Matrix? This is where perception is going to play a huge factor. Absolutely crazy how this car just gets smashed out of nowhere, and there's nothing there. Like nothing freaking hit that car. So, what the hell is going on there? And what I think, and this is where I'd like to give a huge shout out to Museum of Tarot. They're a channel that I've shouted out a couple times because they do some excellent research. They do promote some Dicyan like goggles that they have done some live experiments with that are pretty cool. So you can see them, like, see auras, go to sacred sites. Pretty cool channel over on TikTok, and I think they have a YouTube as well. So you can check them out. But let me go ahead and pull up this one right here.
Like a cube inside of a clear beach. You don't know if it's a force field.
Sorry, kids. Goose here is totally full of shit.
Oh, not this one. That one's great, too. We might do that one after. But the one next to it was the one I was actually after. So...
People are seeing orbs and UFOs all over the place. But are they real, or are they just the nerd toys of a military-industrial complex that went rogue 80 years ago. Let's hear from one of the scientists that actually worked on the Project Bluebeam hologram technology about what it was meant for and what it actually does.
Yeah, I can actually talk about that one, but that is it's really bad. But you know the people that see orbs in the sky,
Yeah.
Go around that fly faster
UFOs?
than UFOs.
Yeah, there's Navy pilots. There's multiple Navy pilots who talk about they got their they were flying F-18s. These Navy pilots, and one of them's coming in here in 2 weeks. He's Ryan Graves.
Okay.
He's a Navy pilot flying off the coast of North Carolina, and they got their radar upgraded on their F-18s, and all of a sudden they were seeing these things darting around on their radar.
Okay. Don't tell him what I'm about to say and see if he knows about it.
Okay.
So what we do is we play with our own forces to make sure our trickery will work on the enemy. And those are directed energy weapons of where we do intersecting beams or focus beams into the atmosphere. And notice they're always in the atmosphere to excite the electron orbitals of the oxygen and nitrogen in our atmosphere, and it causes a glow and it causes ionization. That ionization shows up on radar, and it's like a cat laser pointer, and we're making planes chase them.
That's exactly how they describe these things moving, like laser pointers.
Yeah, and so we can do it in 3 space. We can make it look like
in 3-dimensional space.
Yeah, and we can make it look like an entire fleet is about to drop bombs on, let's say, Europe, and then just have them disappear. And they get all their planes up in the air, and we attack them from the other direction, assuming we're attacking Europe.
Who is doing this? The Navy, you said?
Somebody. Let's just say a group. A group, you know.
And you know this for a fact.
I know for a fact, yeah. So anyway, don't tell your guests.
A group within the U.S. government.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave it at that. Yes.
And is this something that could be seen with the naked eye, or
yes,
was this something
because
that was only...
it glows? It glows, so it would be seeable. You can see it by the naked eye, and it would leave a radar trace. So it's perfect as a deception. You can make them cigar shape. You can alter it somewhat. And I've worked on holography quite a bit, but nothing is detailed.
Holograms?
Yeah, holograms in 3-dimensional space. There's a Japanese company, so I can talk about. They use femto pulsed lasers to create touchable holograms. Tiny little laser beams that excite the air and their midpoints, and then create different colors. I'm saying they can just create, little orbs and split them up and make them do cool things, and the razzle dazzle, shock and awe, fact of war.
Right.
And you asked me about Project Bluebeam. Well, that's what it's about. And it involves the voice of God weapons that I was talking about.
Project Bluebeam does.
And this got leaked. So it probably won't have the effect, and they probably won't do it. But if you wanted to bring the world together, as President Reagan said in several UN speeches, you would have a common enemy like evil aliens attacking. We forget our differences.